I was in a life that by any objective standards, anyone looking from the outside in would say, this is incredible. But for me, this life was depleting, exhausting. I felt unloved and almost like I didn't recognize who I was. So I decided, crying in my closet, one of those snotty cries, trying not to make sounds so you don't wake up your family, that I wasn't gonna let this be my life and let this be what I would be doing. It just became crystal clear that something needed to change. Hello Universe, It's Me is my debut book, and it was released in January of 2021. And it's my own story of how I woke up at 40 and realized I didn't want to wake up at 50 feeling the same way. I had done everything everybody says you should do to have an absolutely amazing life. I did it all like it was homework, like it was check boxes I just needed to check, whether it was getting good grades or listening to my parents or working hard and getting internships, getting into the good college, getting a good job out of college. I literally did every single thing that Hollywood, Bollywood, my parents, teachers, everybody said would lead to an amazing life. And then when I quite literally had it all, the handsome husband, the beautiful house, the closet full of super nice clothes and nice purses and the cute kid and the pool in the back, I looked around and thought to myself, if I did everything right, why did everything feel so wrong? I was in a life that by any objective standards, anyone looking from the outside in would say, this is incredible. This is amazing. You've done it. You have it all. But for me, this life was depleting, exhausting. I felt unloved and almost like I didn't recognize who I was in this existence. So I decided, crying in my closet, one of those snotty cries, right, where the snot is coming all down and you're like trying not to make sounds so you don't wake up your family, bawling, that I wasn't gonna let this be my life and let this be what I would be doing. So in that moment, crying on the floor of my closet, it just became crystal clear that something needed to change. It couldn't be that life was going to continue to go this way in what felt like a hamster wheel of just repeating the same thing over and over again and never feeling fulfilled or lit up by any of it. So I made a change. I scheduled a breakdown. So I woke up at 40 in that moment and just decided that I wasn't going to wake up at 50 feeling the same way. That wasn't how my story was going to go. I wasn't going to live in a perpetual hamster wheel. I wasn't just going to keep doing things because it looked nice to everybody on the outside. I wanted to do things that were going to look nice and feel good to me on the inside. And that is exactly what I started to move into. But the problem was I didn't know how. I didn't know exactly how to move from where I was to where I wanted to be. So I decided to schedule a breakdown. Yes, really, and sort out my life. Look, I could not be like Julia Roberts in Eat, Pray, Love and run off to Italy or Indonesia or wherever she goes to go find herself. I had a little kid at home and I was determined to find myself within the context of my own life. And that's what I did. I took away all the noise. I separated myself from all the things that were just consuming unnecessary amounts of time. And I got to the point where I was finally hearing myself and what I wanted and what I needed. And it was kind of like my future self was cheering me on, going, oh my God, we're so happy you finally got here. And that is the story of Hello Universe, It's Me. It's how I moved through this period of my life, how I scheduled a breakdown, reconnected with myself, changed everything, and manifested a totally new existence. I had started and stopped so many different writing projects in my adult life. I would always have this itch to write a new blog or write a new article, but especially to write a book. And I have started and stopped many writing projects. But this one, Hello Universe, It's Me, and moving into writing this book was completely different because I didn't want to write it, except I could always feel the story wanting to come through. And it was almost like having like a little something on your shoulder constantly telling you, write it, write it, write it. And when that voice got so loud I couldn't ignore it anymore, I did write it. And I kept writing it, and I couldn't stop writing it because so much just wanted to flood through me. And I always say that writing is such a healing journey. And for me, it absolutely was. It allowed me to make sense of this period of my life in a way that I don't think therapy and anything else I could have possibly done would have. Because if I'm honest, instead of healing through that period of my life, when I was in it, I was just sort of drowning in things that were a distraction, right? Drinking too much wine with girlfriends and complaining constantly, shopping too much and just buying more things, thinking somehow that would fill the void. Or my personal favorite, daydreaming about George Clooney when I didn't like my home life. I would just kind of go away into George Clooney land and imagine him as my husband and in this totally complete alternate universe. So, George, if you're out there, I really do love you. But that's when I knew that writing was going to be that healing practice. Because as much as I enjoyed drinking the wine or buying the stuff or dreaming of George, none of those things were really helping me move through the experiences of my life that I was having. Writing did that for me, and it's just been an incredibly healing journey.